Hey everybody, Foley here. Sorry we're a bit late, but it's time for the weekly news recap for the 8th to the 14th of May, 2023. So, this week, pretty much nobody wanted to compete with Tears of the Kingdom, so there's probably not a whole lot going on. But anyway, we'll get into it. So there was this little bit of teaser footage from an upcoming game called Mouse. And as you can see, it is kind of going for the old 40s, 50s Mickey Mouse black and white cartoon types, but it has a fairly distinct Bioshock vibe to it. And you can't really get it, I suppose, from without the music for the trailer, but the music for the trailer is very, Bioshock type. There's also a fair amount of Cuphead, obviously, but because Cuphead is itself aping that kind of animation style, as you can tell, very early days. What kind of game it'll end up being is not entirely clear. It's going to be a first-person shooter, but is it going to be like a story-driven Bioshock type thing, or is it going to be more of a like Doom type deal? Kind of hoping for the former, honestly. I could do with some more story-driven stuff. Clearly, a lot of work still to be done. A lot of the assets are working out pretty well, but he obviously needs to fix the shaders for actual 3D assets and that whole deal. No idea about release dates or anything like that. I just thought it looked pretty neat. Buttons. I need to remember all my buttons. Okay, moving on to games that are a bit more concrete. Dordon. I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's French. Anyway, yeah, it is. The developers called Un Je ne sais quoi, so yes, it's definitely French. Anyway, Dordon is a story-driven thing. You are playing this woman who is trying to recall pieces of her childhood at times where she was very happy in Dordon with her grandmother. It is very much a cozy walkie sim type thing, but it is gorgeous. The shaders they have working here, the environmental art is all like a watercolor. It's just really pretty. And I will be curious to see how it plays when it doesn't have all these fast cuts away from gameplay and stuff like that. How much of it is like a pre-rendered background kind of thing, how much of it is an actual 3D asset, and so on. I'm just really curious how it works. So I will be looking forward to this. I am looking forward to this. It's coming out, I believe, July at some point. I'll just skip to the end. June. Oh, June. Okay, next month. So it's out pretty soon. And we have so this is Guilt by Tequila Works. So this game has been out for a while, but you could only play it on Stadia. It was a Stadia exclusive and is considered probably Stadia's best game. Now, that's not exactly a high bar to clear, but, it's good from a game preservation standpoint that it's no longer locked to the Stadia platform, mostly because the Stadia platform is dead. It is now going to be available on everything, more or less. PC, PlayStation, Xbox. I think it's getting a Switch port as well. So Guilt is a kind of Silent Hill type thing, but it's not like it is leaning into horror, but it's like a childish horror. Does that make sense? I don't know. You don't need to worry about it being too like incredibly scary or anything like that. Think more like a Little Nightmares type, I suppose. No mention of Switch, so who knows? July 6th, so it's out in 2 months. Moving on. So, Hollow Knight sequel has been delayed, so Silk Song, that has been rumored and shown off multiple times, was supposed to come out now? Kinda? Like, in and around now? Certainly in the first half of 2023. But no, that's not happening anymore. So, the following statement from Team Cherry, I think it's the developer? Cherry something? Team Cherry or Cherry something? Cherry Team, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, hey gang, just a quick update about Silk Song. We had planned to release it in the first half of 2023, but development is still continuing. We are excited how the game is shaping up, and it's gotten quite big. So we want to take the time to make the game as good as we can. Expect more details from us once we get closer to release, whenever that is. We don't know when. It's funny to point out, though, that Silksong was meant to be DLC to Hollow Knight. Like, it wasn't meant to be its own game, and then they were like, okay, it's getting kind of big. We're going to make it its own game now. So then they made it its own game. And now apparently it's gotten so big that they're having to delay it on release and so on. Take your time. Hollow Knight's a good game. You know, take your time. We can wait. There's plenty to play right now. That's not really an issue. Anyway, Dragon Age Red Wolf news, and the news is there is no news. Dragon Age Red Wolf won't be released before April 2024, so this is more speculation, really. It's more commenting on its absence from a recent financial call from EA. So EA released their financials for 2024. No, sorry, their projected financials for financial year 2024, which ends March of next year, because finance years, I guess, are also like FIFA games. They're always the year ahead for some reason. And the games include a whole shit ton of sports games, and Immortals of Avium just kind of thrown in there randomly. It sort of sticks out like a bit of a sore thumb. They've also announced some other mystery games that haven't been titled or anything, but apparently they're sports games, so no one needs to worry about it. So this is more a comment on that Dreadwolf is not mentioned. It's entirely, maybe it was omitted. Maybe they're trying to keep speculation under wraps. I doubt it, because they're a publicly traded company and they have to tell the truth about these things. So chances are we're not going to see it before April of next year. And even then, who knows when. This is, again, just speculation. That doesn't mean the game's coming out in April of 2024. Who knows when it's actually coming out. Anyway, it's been quite some time since Dragon Age Inquisition, just saying. Sorry, I just want to check everything is... Yeah, okay. OBS things are all working fine. Alright, anyway. Private Division and Game Freak team up for new IP Project Bloom. So, this is kind of not a whole lot of news. It's more of a press release to say, hey, we're going to make a game and it's not going to be out for like 5 years. We do have this single piece of concept art they released. It's got this, you know, primeval forest look to it. We've got this Eastern-inspired character in the bottom. It's kind of it. It's kind of all we know. There's a hint of a sword at their hip. I think there is a sword at their hip. It's hard to tell. So, Private Division, Take-Two subsidiary, and I've entered a new publishing partnership with the Pokemon developer Game Freak. It's probably the game they're best known for. It's not their only game they've made, but it's probably the one they're best known for. And they're teaming up for a new action-adventure IP, Project Bloom. Action-adventure is more of a catch-all genre term for... You walk around, you do things. Sometimes there's action kind of thing. So Game Freak, over their tenure, have made a lot of Pokemon games. But they've also made some other games, Little Town Hero, Giga Wrecker. But Project Bloom would be their first new IP in like 10 years, 12 years, something like that. It's been quite a while. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to create new IP that is bold and tonally different from our prior work, with the suggestion that it's a bit more mature. You know, Game Freak are probably best known for like colorful, cartoonish... Not cartoonish, sorry. Like colorful, like cute, cuddly games. Pokemon, for instance. Little Town Hero is somewhat similar. I'm not familiar with Giga Wrecker. Anyway, that's it. That's the news. We don't know when the fuck it's coming out. 2026, allegedly, but I doubt it. I doubt it, to be honest. Anyway, the Epic Games Store game, free game, for this month, or for this week, Jesus, on Thursday is, I don't know. It's a mystery. If you go to the Epic Games Store now, it'll just say it's a mystery game. Find out when it's actually announced on Thursday. Feel free to speculate wildly on what it's going to be. Half-Life 3. Obviously, it won't be that. Anyway, I guess maybe it's a new release or something like that. Hey, Melwan. Late notifications, I know they get you. Sometimes they get you. Anyway, yeah, we don't know what the mystery game is, obviously, because it's a mystery. But do feel free to just speculate wildly on what it could possibly be. PlayStation Plus game catalog for May. So they have announced it and made some adjustments. They had been rumored earlier, or leaked rather, but it seems it has been adjusted since. So what we're getting, if you are subscribing to PlayStation Plus Extra, at minimum, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is the Ratchet & Clank for the PS5. It's pretty good. You play as Ratchet & Clank and also as Rivet and somebody? I cannot remember Clank's counterpart's name. But yeah, it's a really good game. It is usually very expensive, but having it free on PlayStation Plus now will be pretty good. I would encourage you to give it a good playthrough. It was a lot of fun. Humanity is launching day one into PlayStation Plus Extra. Humanity is a modern homage, we'll say, a modern take on Lemmings. The game where you have a bunch of creatures, in this case it's humanity, just walking headlong towards their own impending doom, and you are playing this kind of spiritual Shiba Inu who is trying to redirect them to portals and things to save them. So there are things like, hey, turn here, or hey, jump here, or hey, you tell these people to, do something so that they don't kill themselves, and that kind of thing. It's a lot of like putting down obstacles and things to redirect them to the correct path. Humanity is a little bit more friendly. The game, obviously, not the people, is a little bit more friendly in that you don't necessarily need to save absolutely everybody. It's more of like a continuous flow, and you just have to get the flow to work properly rather than trying to save literally every single lemming, which is always stressful. Anyway, Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs Legion, I believe, now means that all of the Watch Dogs are on PlayStation Plus at this point. So Watch Dogs Legion is Watch Dogs 3, effectively. It takes place in London. The interesting angle or concept for Watch Dogs Legion was that you could recruit anybody, any NPC, could effectively join the Legion. I've never played the game, so I don't know how exactly that measured up. Was it literally any NPC, or was it like most NPCs? And they all have their own different stats, abilities, traits. Some of them are a bit better at more combat. Some of them are very stealthy. Some of them are quite unique, and they have like very specific skills. And if they die, they're gone forever, I think was the kind of gist of it. Dishonored 2 and Dishonored Death of the Outsider, and Dishonored also, I think, is already on us. So all the Dishonored is... Dishonored 2 is obviously the sequel. You play as both Corvo and Emily Caldwin, who you are trying to rescue in the very first game, so I guess spoilers, you rescued them. I haven't actually played Dishonored 2, but Dishonored 1 is very good, and I assume Dishonored 2 is much the same. Dishonored Death of the Outsider is a standalone version of the DLC Death of the Outsider. It was the third DLC for the original Dishonored. Again, haven't played it. I played Dishonored 1, but I haven't played any of the DLC, because I played and finished it before any of the DLC came out. But from what I've heard, it's good. But again, Dishonored is very good already, so of course it is. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, I believe, is a launch straight in as well. Fight monsters, cultivate rice in this fascinating side-scrolling action title. Learn the ancient art of agriculture, from planting to harvesting to cultivating the perfect crop. As a harvest goddess, Sakuna's strength grows with each rice crop, with attributes such as aesthetic and flavor directly correlating to her combat abilities. So, Stardew Valley, but Japan, and you may be a dog. I think? I don't know who in this picture is Sakuna, basically. I'm not sure. Anyway, Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20th Celebration, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So that's the three modern Tomb Raiders. They're good. Some are better than others. Personally, the original is still the best one, I think. After that, it's probably Shadow, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider has some really good stealth stuff in it that I really like, and I kind of hope other games look at it and go, hey, yeah, that's pretty cool, let's do that. And then the Tomb Raider, the original reboot of Tomb Raider, is just a really solid game. I have been considering doing the series again as one of my series' Let's Plays, and I think, I mean, they're on PlayStation Plus now, but I already own them, so who cares? Bus Simulator 21. But drive a bus. Fun times. Evil Within 2 will be joining the Evil Within. The Evil Within 2 is pretty good. The original Evil Within is good if you play it on easy. If you play it on anything other than easy, you're going to be very, very angry. Wolfenstein Young Blood, I believe, is a standalone version of the DLC for one of the Wolfensteins. Probably New Blood. I'm not sure which. Thymesia is a Bloodborne wannabe. It has some interesting ideas. Not a great game, personally. That's what I'm thinking. We did play a little bit of it on... I like driving buses. Okay, very well. Bus Simulator 21 is the game for you. Yeah, we played it as part of my Foley Plays Games a Bit series. I did like some of the things it was doing. I just didn't quite like the game. Anyway, I have been considering going back to it though, because there were some things in it I liked. Rain World is kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest. Inspired by the simplicity, 16-bit classic, survival platformer requires fast-paced sneaking to catch your own prey and elude ravenous predators. So it's a bit like Ori and the Blind Forest versus Super Meat Boy kind of thing. It's like pretty fast-paced. It's a good game. Good game. Lake, all I know is it's a story-driven thing and has been on my wish list for ages. So that works. That works for me. Conan Exiles, I could have sworn it was already on PlayStation Plus, but okay. Now it's there. It is a MMO survival game where Conan is like in the periphery somewhere. It's why they even bothered to call it Conan Exiles. Obviously just IP recognition is really the only reason. Other than that, it has very little to do with actual Conan. Rune Factory 4. Rune Factory is a Stardew Valley type from before Stardew Valley. So it's like an inspiration to it. But it's the same kind of thing, but anime. So if you're not into the anime look, then it's probably not for you. But if you are, and already like Stardew Valley, there you go. There's your next game. If you would prefer it to be a bit more friendly, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town is again Stardew Valley kind of thing. And again, from before Stardew Valley. Soundfall, I think, is a twin-stick shooter that is like music-based. Soundfall is a fast-paced, music-based dungeon crawler that combines looter-shooter action with rhythm-based gameplay to create a world of music unlike any other. Closer you can time your actions to the... Okay, so it is a rhythm... So it's scripted and Necrodancer crossed with Enter the Gungeon kind of thing. Alright, PlayStation Premiums, I assume we will continue to get shafted, even though that is the highest tier of the subscription. Siphon Filter, Logan Shadow. This has got to be all the Siphon Filters by now. Come on, it has to be. Do I need another Stardew Valley in my life? Yes, of course you do. Everybody needs as many as they can get. Siphon Filter's Logan Shadow is the PSP Siphon Filter. Never played it. No idea if it's any good. Blade Dancer, Lineage of Light. Never heard of it. Protected by the gentle... It's pretty standard. Oh, it's a PSP game. That's why I've never heard of it. Okay. Pursuit Force is another PSP game that is actually kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. It would probably be a mobile game nowadays. You are driving in a car. You are the super crazy, fast-paced driving police. But you can jump out of your car into enemy cars and like take them over and shoot them and they catch up and so on. And you jumping into good cars, you know, you can get faster and that kind of thing. It's an interesting one. Ghostbusters, the video game remastered. Yeah, it's good. That is actually a good game. Pretty sure it was on PlayStation Plus already though. So anyway, Ghostbusters, the video game, originally came out on PS3. It's set just after Ghostbusters 2. You are a new Ghostbuster, as is always the case with Ghostbuster games. I don't think you ever play as the cast. But it does have like the full cast, full voice likenesses and so on, which is pretty good. They do a pretty good job. And also Harold Ramis R.I.P. Anyway, that is PlayStation Plus catalog updates for Extra and Premium. The PlayStation Plus Essential games are already out. These games will be out probably next week, some point. I never finished it, and I have it in my stream list. Yeah, that's it. It's definitely a game that I am planning to jump into at some point. Although if Melwin beats me to the punch, then I'll just watch her LP instead. Okay, Tears of the Kingdom, new releases. Okay, so those are some of the games you can play eventually. But what if you wanted to play something right now? You could play Tears of the Kingdom, because it just released, and it's probably what you're playing already and not actually watching the stream in the first place. We played it on Friday. It's good. I'm going to skip ahead. That's the wrong button. That's the button I meant to press. Darkest Dungeon 2 is out of early access, so it is now 1.0, or possibly 1.0 point something. Darkest Dungeon 2, obviously the sequel to the original Darkest Dungeon. Chat only mode now. No, it's okay. It's okay, Melvin. I'm not in Tears of the Kingdom anymore. Darkest Dungeon 2 is a little bit different to the original Darkest Dungeon. The original, you were in one location and you collected your party members and jumped into various dungeons and tried to extract resources and so on, and eventually work your way into the Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon 2, however, is a mad escape from the ending of the original Darkest Dungeon, because it didn't end well, I guess, because now all the enemies of Darkest Dungeon original are just everywhere in the world, and you are trying to escape to safety. So you're in your chariot convoy, being accosted by absolute horrible shit. But it could be interesting, because it is very much a completely different game. It's completely different, yes, in setting, but the actual gameplay is still the same. You know, it's turn-based combat thing. Redemption Reapers has been on PC for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months at this point. So Redemption Reapers is goth Fire Emblem. Well, that's how I'm going to talk about it anyway. It is a tactical RPG type thing, turn-based deal. You have, characters on the board. They can move in a set amount of spaces. They have their own abilities and that kind of thing. So it's a bit XCOM. It's a bit more Fire Emblem though, because you have distinct characters, and like they kind of stick with you through the story, kind of thing. Other than something like XCOM, where if they die, they're gone. With Redemption Reapers, they've just been knocked out, and you can revive them and that kind of thing. I really like the look of it. I haven't heard really anything critically about it. I think it has very much gone under the radar for a lot of people. So yeah, I guess I'll bite the bullet and find out if it's any good. But that is now out on PlayStation, and I think it's on Xbox as well. It has been on PC for a couple of months. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so unfortunately, it is now time to talk about the worst parts of video games, the video game industry. So, Gone Home Studio Fulbright, now a solo outfit as controversial co-founder goes it alone. So, Fulbright, you may know as the people behind Gone Home and Tacoma. So Steve Gaynor is now going it alone under the Fulbright name following accusations of a toxic workplace behavior in August 2021, which we did talk about on the channel all the way back then. It had alleged that Gaynor was very controlling and was demeaning and disparaging towards his employees, particularly women. And it resulted in the exodus of 15 Fulbright staff at the time, and they all blamed him, basically, for doing it. At the time, Gaynor publicly acknowledged that his leadership style was hurtful to people that worked at Fulbright, and he was going to step back, yada yada yada. He's going to leave their latest game, Open Roads, in the hands of the team that was working on it, and he would step back from management and that kind of thing. A statement from Fulbright management in itself confirmed that Gaynor wouldn't be a creative lead and manager anymore. He's going to go off and do his own thing. So an update is that Gaynor has decided that Fulbright is now effectively its own thing, just him, and that the team currently working on open roads are also now their own thing. So he is like separating the two companies. The last few years have shown me that I was kind of a dick, so I'm gonna try to start over and not be a dick anymore. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that's kind of what he's saying here. After a great deal of consideration, it's just no longer Fulbright's place to represent Open Roads publicly going forward. So Open Roads are effectively going to just partner with Annapurna Interactive directly without the Fulbright name. The real question, though, is once the game is out and supported and so on, do they still have a job? Have they all been fired? Are Annapurna going to take over them entirely and just reincorporate them into their own thing? That is not clear. And the kind of deal of, hey, I was a bit of a dick and I don't want to be a dick anymore, but also you're all fired? Mixed messages here a little bit, Steve? Which you're entirely sure what you're going for here. It's not clear if the Open Roads team will continue to operate and develop future titles together as its own entity. So yeah, that's not clear. I guess they'll be together until Open Roads is out, but once that's done, who knows? There is no release date currently for Open Roads yet, but it is expected to be out some stage this year. Moving on. Activision boss hyped about AI. Of course he is. Suggests it could be used in a new Guitar Hero. How? All in the ways you don't want it to be. You trust me. Anyway, Bobby has decided to come in on the AI bandwagon because of course he did. Because it's a money grift for everybody else. Anyway, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick recently told staff he feels AI will be as transformative for society as the original Macintosh. And could even be incorporated into a future Guitar Hero. Citation needed, Bobby. But okay. Anyway, he goes on to a bunch of bullshit I'm not going to repeat, but he doesn't even specifically point out what in Guitar Hero AI would be used for. If you take an example of a thing like Guitar Hero, I've always had this vision for what a new Guitar Hero product could be, but without having AI and then the processors embedded either in phones, in computers, or in game consoles that allow you to actually have the speed of processing to enable that AI. We've never been in a place where AI is going to have practical reality and applicability for games until now, and I think when you look out over the next 5 or 7 years, the impact in game making is going to be extraordinary. What are you talking about? That was a whole bunch of shit. Didn't say anything. We somehow had an entire paragraph where you mentioned Guitar Hero and then nothing else. Fuck's sake. Anyway. He moved on to talk about Call of Duty and putting AI into that as well. If you look at games like Call of Duty, we have people playing a fraction of what they can play because there's a lot there and it's complex to learn. What is complex about Call of Duty? You point the gun at the guy, you click on his head. There you go. You've learned how to play Call of Duty. Like, people are playing a fraction of what they can play because you have them grinding for season passes and battle passes and what have you. And they're playing the thing that is most efficient for it, which is probably like Team Deathmatch or something. Like, there's a reason they're not doing any of the other stuff. Because it doesn't work for your Battle Pass shit. Anyway, in the same vein, EA, Android Wilson, was also talking about AI. He was trying to dismiss that, no, we'd never use the generative stuff, just the other type of AI that doesn't exist. But okay. Anyway, it was brought up concerns about, companies using AI and what this means for people working there. Are they gonna be pushed out of a job, etc. And he, I think, was trying to placate them. I think that was his intention. I don't think it worked. The fear of displacement of the workforce is something we read a lot about and we talk a lot about. And as we think about every revolution over the course of time, from the agricultural revolution to the industrial revolution and on, there has been displacement of the workforce in the near term, and then meaningful increases in workforce opportunities over the long term. Andrew, you literally just threatened people in the near term. I think they're pretty much concerned about the near term because that's their job and their means of paying exorbitant rent and food prices. Okay. Good job, though. Good job making your employees feel good. Moving on. PlayStation-backed Deviation Games hit with layoffs. So Deviation Games partnered with PlayStation last year, talking about this brand new IP that's going to be, yada yada, great stuff. And then they haven't released the game yet, and they're already being hit with layoffs. So this is not a good start. Not a good start for them. 90 members of staff may have been affected. The development team, as I recall, was only 100 plus. That's like the whole team, basically. My studio recently ran into a difficult situation and was forced to make a number of layoffs, which I was a part of. So this is like a bunch of developers all saying, yeah, we got laid off, and no news why, really. The studio is developing an original IP, which will be published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Deviation was reportedly over 100 strong in 2021 when it signed the deal with Sony. I imagine they hired more people on in the meantime, but then they've lost a lot of people, and they are currently not hiring anymore. Bit worrying for a developer that hasn't actually, released their game yet. We'll see how that goes. Valve decides to actually say something about gambling for a change. Valve updates Steam's code of conduct and bans gambling. So there has been a fresh addition to the code of conduct, and it involves a strict ban on commercial activity, which includes gambling. The whole deal with the CSGO skins and that kind of thing is mostly what they're targeting here, but in general, it's just gambling that uses Steam's API in any way. Legal experts have suggested that they believe the same regulatory structures that are in place for gambling in traditional sports should be in place for video games. Only recently, Valve has emerged victorious from legal claims that tried to hold it accountable for playing a role in unregulated gambling. And this is more of them just shoring up their code of conduct and their terms and conditions to basically say, like, if you do it, we don't condone it. It's against our terms of service. We'll ban you. Right? So, again, to protect them legally after their recent scare with it. A list of bannable offenses such as buying or selling Steam accounts, selling gift cards, begging, or even posting advertisements all fall under this new code of conduct. Valve have kind of pointed this stuff out before, the commercial activity thing, but they've never explicitly said gambling before, where they have now added gambling specifically to the code of conduct. So yeah, you're risking a ban, basically, if you go into those skin roulette stuff, or the buying and selling of skins, for CSGO in particular, but just in general. Okay, we'll finish off with some dumb stuff. So, the Russell Crowe movie mistakes Dragon Age icon for Spanish Inquisition symbol. So, yeah, we're not going to be getting Dragon Age 4 anytime soon, but it's still showing up in films where it shouldn't be showing up. So, in The Pope's Exorcist, that is allegedly inspired by the actual files of the Spanish Inquisition, people have spotted that the symbol for Dragon Age Inquisition has shown up in the game and in the film, and is being alleged to be the actual symbol of the Spanish Inquisition. So there's a screen grab from the film there, where the Dragon Age Inquisition symbol shows up, and that is very much it. It looks like somebody typed Inquisition into Google and went with the Dragon Age Inquisition logo that popped up first and didn't look any further into it. Oops. And then, last thing, people are making very hilarious constructs in Tears of the Kingdom. Yep. That's a penis. That's definitely a penis. And somebody really needs to go see their doctor about all sorts of problems, basically. There have been a lot of those all over Twitter, at least. Anyway, we'll go... You know what? We'll put Darkest Dungeon on repeat. That way Melvin can actually watch the stream. We won't put Tears of the Kingdom on instead. Okay. Anyway, that is your news for the 8th to the 14th of May, 2023. You're too long didn't watch. Mouse game shown off. Just teaser footage so far. It looks like an old-time Disney Bioshock game. Guilt was formerly locked to Stadia. Probably the only good Stadia game. Is now free from that platform and is now going to be on everything except the Switch. Hollow Knight Silksong delayed. Try to act shocked. The PlayStation Plus collection. Oh, that shouldn't be there. That's from last week. Ignore that one. Although the PlayStation Plus catalog has been updated, so you can check that out too. New releases: Tears of the Kingdom. You're probably playing it already. Industry bullshit. Fulbright is going solo. It's divorcing itself from Open Roads as Steve Gaynor has a reconciliation with his past. Bobby Kotick wants AI and Guitar Hero, but didn't specify how exactly. And Valve says no to gambling. Just say no. All right. That is our news. So we'll move on and figure out what is going on with the channel next week and or this week, depending on when exactly you watch this video. So we've had some updates on the emotes. So the artist I've commissioned, Phil, has had some family issues and stuff going on in the background. So it has been dealing with that, and that is perfectly fine. I am not in any rush for any of this kind of stuff. Definitely deal with that kind of thing first. But he has sent me on some sketches, and he has sent me on some colors as well, but I didn't have time to prepare them for the stream. But these are some of the emotes coming your way eventually. So we have angry, scared. It'll be called love on Twitch, but it's horny. It's that emote. Anyway, there's those three, and there's two others in the works, and then there's an animated one on the way as well. So they should be coming soon enough. I think Phil's family stuff is not exactly fixed or finished, but is some way under wraps. Anyway, those will be moving, or those will be showing up soon-ish. Eventually. Anyway, moving on. Here is our roadmap for June, or all the way up to June of 2023. So some games have been swapped in, and some games have been swapped out, just because I've changed my mind on a couple of things, and some games are just like... thick. Some games are going to be just... I'm just not going to play them. I just decided that's just not going to happen. Anyway... but there's some of them there if you want to check through them. Reminders for people, the legend. I should really just put a legend in, really. But anyway, the green tick is game has been featured on the channel. Yellow is it's currently being featured, although I should probably update that for some of those games because that's not true anymore. The gray symbol is it's on its way, and the little wedge in the top left corner of some of the games means it's a full Let's Play as opposed to a one-shot video. So, this week, okay, he's there, he'll have to get to it at some point. This week, we finished Immortality. It was very weird, as it turned out. We did it in 2 streams. The first stream, yeah, it was getting interesting, it was like mysterious, and I wonder what's going on, and then the second stream was, what the fuck is going on? Still not entirely sure what's happening. I will not go into the weirdness of it. You'll just have to either play it yourself or watch the Let's Play, but it was fucking weird. It's certainly Sam Barlow's weirdest game. The David Lynch's video game. It might as well be. It was very strange. Like, his other 2 games aren't anything like that. Like, they are, like, adult and mature and what have you, but they're... Anyway, whatever. So we played that and finished, which means there's room for a new Foley Fables. We'll talk about that in a second. We also played Tears of the Kingdom. Go watch it. I don't want to see any spoilers myself either. Resident Evil 4 we finished yesterday. So that concludes Foley Plays Resident Evil 4 2023. It's really good. It's a really, 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 really good game. Excellent work from Capcom. And some notes, but they're honestly just minor quibbles that I won't go into, and some of them are spoilers, so I won't talk about them here. But you can go check out full Let's Plays now over... No, it's not yet, but it will be in like an hour. it'll all be over on YouTube, youtube.com/DoomTrain5. As part of my Foley Plays Games a Bit series, we played... Damn it. How do I go backwards? Well, spoilers. Did I not add it? Oh, no, I did. Tears of the Kingdom. Right, okay. Never mind. So, next week, you know now, next week to replace Resident Evil 4 is Bioshock. I was going through my list of my shortlisted games and I was like, I kind of want to play a first-person thing. now. And I had been thinking either the Bioshocky ones or something like Dishonored, something stealthy, and I'm like, I don't have the patience for stealth right now. So let's just go for something else. So we're going to play Bioshock. Will take the place of Resident Evil 4. We're going to be playing the Bioshock Remastered version because it's the most easily accessible. Because I haven't seen this trailer in years. I was actually trying to find a trailer for Bioshock, and I couldn't find like an official proper one. Because I think it even still predates like that whole marketing thing that's like commonplace now. It's like you have a YouTube trailer with like stuff from the Bioshock channel and so on. It's like that wasn't a thing, I guess, at the time. Anyway, we'll be playing that. Replacing Immortality will be Cloudpunk. Cloudpunk is a visual novel story game from Ion Lands. It has this really great voxelized art style to it. And it tells the story of a taxi courier person just trying to make their way in Cloudpunk Town, ferrying people around, delivering packages and that kind of thing. And there's an overarching story of like dystopia and stuff like that. It's interesting. And I've been meaning to go back to it because they added a first-person mode for the cockpit. I don't think you'll see it in this trailer because this is like the original trailer. And that first-person mode has been there for a while on PC. And it's only, well, not recently exactly anymore, but it had only been added a while ago to the console version. So I'm looking forward to that. 9 Years of Shadows will be continuing that Let's Play. I got extremely angry at the game last week. There were two bosses that were really pissing me off. One of them I have since beaten off stream. Literally when I stopped playing the stream and went back to fight him like next try. So that's always the way, it seems. There's one other boss I have not tried yet again because they're a story boss and I want that to be on stream. So I don't know, this week could be even more anger at the chess boss. God, fuck that guy so much. Jesus Christ. Anyway, if you want to see me get incredibly angry, you just tune in for that on Thursday. Moving on, and then Friday, as part of the Foley Plays Games a Bit series, we'll be taking a look at The Last Case of Benedict Fox, which is a Eldritch Castlevania, more or less. So it's a Metroidvania side-scrolling type thing, where you play Benedict Fox. He is possessed by some sort of eldritch nightmare thing, but that's also what's giving him his powers. The actual story, I don't know exactly. I think he is following in the footsteps of somebody else's case, which is very Lovecraftian. And we'll see how it turns out. It seems like it's getting good press, and I like Metroidvanias, so we'll see how that goes. And then Saturday, it didn't happen this week because not conflicting schedules, it's just literally I forgot and just kept saying I was going to play Resident Evil. And Melvin had other plans on Saturday, as it turned out anyway. But hopefully, we'll see if Melvin is up for it. We will continue the Quarry watch-along stream where Melvin plays the Quarry and I give people shit for their choices, more or less. I don't know, it's a fun time. I enjoy doing it, so who cares? But yeah, we'll be continuing playing that, hopefully, if Melvin is up for it. If not, Bioshock. Again. Anyway, that is the plan for next week. So I'm available. Okay, it's going to be the Quarry then. So that is the plan for next week. Bioshock remastered on Tuesday, Cloudpunk on Wednesday as part of Foley Fables. Foley Plays 9 Years of Shadows continuing on Thursday. Foley Plays The Last Case of Benedict Fox a bit on Friday, and Foley and Melvin play The Quarry on Saturday. And then we'll be right back around to the weekly news recap on Sunday. So we have a reminder for people that the stream days have changed. Used to be Tuesday was the day off because I'd play D&D, but now D&D has changed to Monday. So now Monday's the day off from streaming. But that does mean there's effectively like an unbroken streak from Tuesday to Sunday. Although Although you could probably said it was an unbroken streak from Wednesday to Monday, but I don't know. This seems cleaner because it all fits in 1 week and there's no bleed over into the next week. I don't know. It feels cleaner to me. Anyway, that is the plan for next week. So that is your channel update for the 8th to the 14th of May 2023. Sorry that we got started a bit late. I like sleeping a lot, and I don't go to bed until like 5 a.m. usually, so I need to get as many hours in as I can. Anyway, that is it from me for today, though. I believe Melwin is playing The Bad Mafia, Mafia 3, later this evening. If you want to tune in and watch your slog through what is a terrible game, sure, jump in, give her a follow and subscribe if you have the means. Anyway, I will possibly see some of you in the chat. Otherwise, I will see you Tuesday for Bioshock. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.